The first type of clause is constituted with a subject, a transitive verb, the indirect object. To get the definition of the transitive verb through the direct object, and finish the subject, direct object, indirect object relationship, and the direct object to get the definition of the transitive verb at first. The reason why the indirect and direct are applied is the object gets the definition of the transitive verb at first or at last. There is a clause. The principal awards the boy the certificate for verifying his stamina. The speaker reveals the procedure that the subject, the principal, conveys the action indicated by the transitive verb awards to the direct object, the certificate. The subject, the principal, starts the action indicated by the transitive verb awards. The indirect object, the boy, receives the definition of the transitive verb through the direct object, the certificate. The speaker reveals the next procedure following the previous procedure. The next procedure of conveyance is that the subject, the principal, conveys the direct object, the certificate, through the action indicated by the transitive verb awards to the indirect object, the boy. So let's have the perspective that the indirect object, the boy, gets the action indicated by the transitive verb award and the direct object, the certificate, from the subject, the principal. What comes first? The action indicated by the transitive verb award is the premise to the conveyance of the direct object, the certificate, the direct object, the action conveyed to the indirect object, the boy, from the subject, the principal. The speaker signifies that the action indicated by the transitive verb award is conveyed from the subject to the indirect object via the direct object. In the subject, direct object, indirect relationship. So this clause is stated in the first type of clause. The speaker reveals the perspective to focus on the entire procedure of conveyance from the subject via the direct object to the indirect object. The speaker can reveal the perspective to focus on the conveyance from the subject to the direct object. The focus of the speaker is shrinked. How do we state the indirect object in this clause? The indirect object is stated as the object of the preposition to. The speaker who focuses on the conveyance from the subject to the direct object determines to reveal the relationship between the direct object and the indirect object with the preposition consistent with the definition of the transitive verb a word. Because of the definition of the preposition to, the subject of the preposition to, the certificate proposes the assumed the boy. There is a conference. The principal awards the certificate for verifying his stamina to the boy. The speaker is able to state a clause to focus on the relationship between the subject and the direct object, which is a part of the entire relationship among the subject, the direct object, and the indirect object. The phrase of the preposition to the boy is not considered as a constituent because the phrase of the adverb is classified as an adverb. The speaker signifies the relationship between the indirect object, the boy, and the direct object as the subject-object relationship mediated by the preposition to. So this clause is stated in the third type of clause. There is another conference. This clause is stated in the perspective of the direct object, the certificate. The direct object get the definition of the transitive verb from the subject and convey the definition of the transitive verb to the indirect object. So there are two prepositions are applied to reveal between the subject and the direct object as the subject and the direct object and the indirect object. So this clause is stated in the second type of clause. The certificate for verifying his stamina are awarded from the principal to the boy. The speaker in the passive voice states the clause to set the direct object, the certificate, as the subject. The subject, the certificate for verifying his stamina by the intransitive verb are, and the subjective complement, that is the past participle awarded as an adjective, describes the condition of the subject. The speaker describes the existence of the subject, the certificate, with the be verb are. The speaker describes the condition of the subject with the past participle awarded that has the trait of the adjective to practice the role of the subjective complement. So this clause is stated in the second type of clause with the perspective that the speaker chooses to state the clause. The clause is stated in the different. The speaker is able to state into the different types of clause.